We still don't have opening and ending credits. We're working on that. And now I've gone jaundiced again. So let's go dink with the camera controls. We're having a number of problems that are starting to bother me. The white balance keeps locking at 4600, which is like way over here or way up there. I don't know where it is. So the colors are always weird. There we go. At least now we're the right color. So instead of weirdly jaundiced. So all right. I'm still trying to kind of catch up. It looks like the holiday season was a lot more crowded and complicated than I was expecting it to be. And I was a lot more disabled over the week, over the break than I thought I would be. I hurt my back, and that makes it uh, difficult to do all of the jobs that I'm trying to do here. One of them is like clean my office, which seems like a mild, easy thing to do until you can't bend over because your back's damaged. So my back has gotten much better, but it's taken some time. So we're getting kind of into the spot where we can do this again. So that's why there's no opening and ending credits right now. So the old opening and ending credits specifically said 2021. So I am trying to okay, trying to kind of just catch up with everything. Kind of getting back into the swing of things is always difficult after a break like that, isn't it? I mean, like I'm looking around going, gosh, I haven't checked my email. I haven't. Oh man, my I got. So I usually use these. This is my weekly planner. This is what I use to plan my week. And it's got a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on it, so I can just plan the whole week. And I've got this little box here in case I do jobs where I can mark the hours that I did something, so that we can kind of keep an eye on how many hours I worked on a project if I'm being paid hourly. And I went and printed for the whole year. So this is all of 2022 here. And they even say at the very bottom here, it says 2022 week one and stuff like that. So it's kind of fun. Um, and what I do is at the beginning of the year, I'll go through my entire calendar for the year and put in everybody's birthdays and all of that stuff, so that when I come up on people's birthdays here in the middle of the year, I'll be like, I'll just flip to that page and I'll go, oh, well, Bob's birthday is on Wednesday or whatever. And of course, all the other things, like when we have, um, I, I am a chart man, but I don't actually have an organized mind. That's one of the reasons why I do it. Um, I have learned over the years that without something like that, my world comes apart. I don't remember anything. I don't have any clue what's happening, and I get lost. So with one of those, though, all I have to do is remember one thing, and that is check my clipboard. And it's even funnier because I've set Alexa to remind me in the morning to check my clipboard. So that's where we are. But it's good to see you, Donald. Good to see you here. It's good to have you last night. Both of those were really good. So I'm glad to have you here. I haven't seen Brent yet, but I'm sure he's lurking about and will be here soon. But yeah, I mean that's I mean I'm coming up on 50 now, and this is my 50th 50th orbit of the sun on this this ball of water and rock. So I'm hoping, though, that some of the things that I have learned to mitigate my ADD, I can pass on to my child who also is showing symptoms of ADD, because these things make things much better. If I can break it down into small units and then not worry about the other units, that's good. Which is why Brent's little suggestion to break the script down into small units. So here is the first script, and here is the breakdown of that. Has been a very smart move on Brent's part, because I hadn't even thought of it. And that's another kind of trait of ADD, is we don't think of these things when we really should. Anyway, so we're going to have to go on ahead and start working on this. So I'm actually still up here at the top where we're working on all of the characters. It's hard to read this. It just looks like a big white square, doesn't it? I can sort of make it, I can tilt it so that it stops being a big white square, but it's hard. It doesn't really matter. I can read it to you. We're working on our characters at this point in time. We're trying to fix up the maquettes so that the maquettes work fine. And we can all look and see, switch to the monitor, that we've got a pretty solid Mayrel, and she's already ready to go. And we have a pretty solid Chang, who's ready to go. But the question that we are running into at the moment is colors. And you can help me with this, Donald, because the problem is this green that we have already chosen here, when rendered in black and white, this color and this color are identical. So we are looking for something more like this, where when put into black and white, the command color, these are officers of the line. Officers of the line have a light color in black and white, and those who are restricted duty officers have a dark color. And that's just so you can identify them. So it'll be the blue and the red shirts and the yellow shirts of Star Trek. However, when I raised the green to a level of which it actually became this shade of gray in black and white, it kind of got neon over here. You can kind of see it. It got really neon, and a little bit too neon. It didn't look so good. So I went on ahead and made some varying versions of it, which is all the same value of color. Yeah, Brent, you're late for the party. We're talking about colors. So, but it's actually fine. So I did, they're all the same value. So when rendered in black and white, all four of these colors will turn out the same way. They'll look exactly like this guy up here. All four of them will turn out the same, but we've got to come up with what color they are in that value. Well, in color theory, orange would be ideal, because orange and blue are opposites. But that's not necessarily obvious. I mean, we've got a triad here. So on the triad theory, here's the blue. If you look over here down on the bottom left-hand side where I am over here with the color wheel, this color is right about here. The suit color, the blue, is here. So the opposite obvious is orange, which is on the other side. But also, we could talk about this shade of red or this shade of greenish yellow, which are also in that triad. So that was something somebody else had recommended, which was change the uniform. And my first thought was, it's not a uniform then. If everybody on the ship, if half the people on the ship have one style and the other half of another style, I'm already going to have a different uniform for the Marines. So, um, so I already kind of feel like the Marines will have a different uniform. As far as command, like, so these are of the line officers. For captain, she's got these extra little bars right here and this star, which indicates she's the captain. So that's her command wings, so to speak. You can see that Mayrel doesn't have those. She's going to get wings right here as a device. She'll have a device that goes right above her patch, which says that she's the pilot. But it's not to be confused with those are supposed to be scrambled eggs. Like, you guys know the scrambled eggs on hats and stuff like that. It's sort of the same kind of concept. I just didn't want to have to curly cue every single time I drew the captain, which was going to be a lot of times. So I just made it a triangle for simplicity's sake. This is already a complex uniform. There's already a lot going on. So I'm not quite, I mean, I really just want to come up with what's our color codes for it. Because restricted duty or staff officer is going to be this dark purple, which looks great. And we're all pretty good with this purple. Line officer needs to be one of these shades. It has to have this value, but it doesn't have to have this color. So, for example, we can take, let's just go over here to this yellow. And let's say that if we look at, first of all, if we right mouse click, we get this shade, right? So if we go to here, this is in the triad of it. We could give that a shot, right? And the other side of that triad is right here. Give that a shot, right? So these two then would be at triads. Yeah, those are unrestricted line officers. The gold thread braid, aren't those staff officers? No, those aren't staff officers. Those are the line officers, and then everybody else is staff officers. But we're talking also, isn't that on their Class A's? Because I'm talking about service uniform, duty uniform, which you can't really tell the difference except for the little rank insignia in the Navy. Because I totally agree with you that that's the way we kind of tell the difference between a line officer and restricted duty. But I'm kind of also trying to, I mean, like Star Trek-esque sort of things. And see, even this value is too low. We've got to make it up here to make this work. So it's got to be that color. Ugh. And we go to the other triad of this, which is actually here. That one's actually the same value. There we go. So it's more pink. Ugh. I don't know about that. So, well, and that's why I'm asking you, Donald, is, I mean, you're from there. This is a world you're familiar with. And actually Brent, to some degree, also, obviously Brent was not neon orange. Well, like I said, this color here is right there. So directly across the wheel over here is this color, right? And that's actually not bad. It's still 65 though. But even at 74, it's not bad, right? Right. Yeah, those are staff officers. Just different shades of green. Well, guys, at the risk of, I mean, I'm going now kind of, my wife really likes this blue. Well, I don't know. Maybe if I were to take the same blue, hey, wait, let's try this. Let's see what happens if I take the same blue, move it up and over just a little bit, and bring it into 75 and see what happens. What do we think about that? That's not bad, actually. Plenty of coral. uh, I could even push it over a little bit more like that and give it more of that kind of blue. I almost like the other one better. What do you think? I don't know. I'm actually kind of digging this. This blue looks good. The blue combination. Blue on blue for command or line. Command are the pips that she's got on her collarbones. Those indicate command. And of course, some of this has to be television oriented. We're going to have people who are not Marines and not Navy personnel reading the comic. So we want to be able for them to eyeball and see that is a commander. This is a captain, you know. So we've got to be able to make it easy enough that people can comprehend it. So you want to see something very funny though? Watch this. Take the hue saturation, take the saturation and go to 0. Right? It's kind of wild, huh? You can't tell the difference between any of them. I think that's kind of cool. The only problem is I'm noticing that this is a lighter value than this. So I'm kind of wondering if that's the value that we want. If we need to be slightly lighter. Like up here. Move it back over the wheel like this. And then put it at 80. I still feel kind of like, let's double check that. There, that's a better. Yeah. No sashes here. No capes. No capes. Okay. I am leaning towards this guy right here. I'm leaning towards this blue. What are we thinking, guys? Blue on blue. It's the first color combination that I actually really dig as far as artistically. I'm willing to go a different color if, you know, if it becomes one of those. No, there is no way, but I'm liking this blue on blue. So what are we thinking? This green is really obnoxious. I did notice that when I was doing my Tamerlan comic, the 3 colors of TOS uniforms were really hard to parse in black and white, because the blue and the red, the blue of sciences and the red um, of engineering looked the same in black and white. So this becomes an important discussion topic we've got to kind of figure out. But I'm thinking this blue on blue is good, and that becomes this shade in black and white. Sure. I mean, we could have all kinds of stuff that allows sashes and things like that. And we're not talking about the class A's. We'll have to do the class A's next, because we actually have to kind of figure out how we're doing class A's. Because I feel like they're still going to flare in the same manner that the service uniforms flare on the wrists and legs, because you still have to be able to survive explosive decompression. Otherwise everybody would attack everybody during assembly. It would be like, inspection. They're gonna blow up the ship. Dang it, you took out our whole crew because all of our class A's are not space capable. So the class A's are still going to have to be space capable. So they'll still have the flared wrists and the flared shins, and we'll do those next so we can figure that out. Although, technically speaking, we don't need to, because there are no, in the first script, there's no call for class A's. There's only call for service uniforms. So maybe we should skip it for right now. We should skip the class A's, and we'll move on to Mayrel and Bennett. And Sison, because we'll need all of those guys. So, and we need Larson. Yeah, okay. So we need Arbo, Larson, and Sison. So instead of doing class A's, what we should probably do, I like the idea of just a cape. You have this huge cape, but it goes and it retracts in case of an emergency. This is just goes away. Okay. I'm easily entertained. I find this very funny. Sure. But I think I need to illustrate the point better here. So let me show you what I was talking about. Because it's been a while, right? Open with Clip Studio Paint. Let's take a look here. Here is Bennett and Ward talking to each other in the engine room of the Tamerlan. Right? So we talk about, they're both in red here. So that's okay. But you counterpoint this with, later on in the episode, we have I'm trying to find the staff room meeting where they're talking in staff room. Open with Clip Studio Paint. Right. Now you can see different colors of people on the flight deck. Right. Oh, I agree. And maybe we need to discuss more patches. I know I took the Unity patch off of the left shoulder so I could put that pocket on there, but then I've moved the pocket down to almost the elbow. So there's room again for the Unity patch. So I think we need to put the Unity patch back on. But here we've got red, and green on the uniforms. I need to find one where's the page where we have right off the bat? Here we go. Right. And here's where we've got the problem. Because Pachiko is in blue and they're in red and she's in green. Right. And you can't, it's really hard to distinguish the difference here. Right. So we have sort of this is sort of what I want to talk about a little bit here. It's okay as long as you understand your Star Trek lore. But when we have characters turned away from us and characters moving around and facing different ways and yada yada yada, things get a little difficult. So that's where I'm kind of working on here. I'm kind of trying to figure out how am I going to delineate this uniform from this uniform from this uniform? Because he's a scientist, or at least he's wearing blue, right? So if we were in color, he'd be wearing blue. She's wearing red because she's the first officer, but she's also security. And of course, the captain's wearing green. So we've got to kind of delineate between these guys. And that's where we are. So I'm settling in on this guy. Any objections? Yeah, not all readers will be familiar. I think that what'll happen is you'll see a whole bunch of people in spacesuits in the first couple of episodes of the comic. And then as time goes on, you'll start to get the delineation between everything. And that'll be okay. That'll be okay. I just, I want to put some thought into where everybody is beforehand. So I'm going for blue on blue. Blue on blue, do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Yeah. Anyway, I'm getting a lot of, not a direct answer on this thing. So I'm kind of feeling like I'm just going to kind of go out there on my own. I'm liking this blue on blue. So I'm going to go for the blue on blue. And then take a look at it right next to the other uniform. Yeah, see, that looks nice. I think that's where we're headed. Okay, so we will open in the Chang Li character file. And change all of that to that service blue. And then we will save. And then we will open. And like that, and like that. We'll change that to that service blue. And her limbs U to service blue. It really doesn't actually take a lot of effort to do this, does it? We'll save. And we will save and close and close. The last task that we will have to do here. Oh. Open. Let's get those limbs in here. Get those limbs back in here. The last thing we're going to have to do is open Bellatrix Rising Administration, Tamerlane's, or Unity Saturn. We need this. Because that's the right arm, this is the left arm. Nope, this is the left arm because there's the thumb. So the hand, this is left. All right. It should be right at the point of this, which oddly, I'm noticing the uniform doesn't seem to. But you know what? We've only got one example of either one of these guys. So right now, let's go here. Go to characters, go to Mayrel, and let's open up her service uniform. As well. Let's do the same thing with her service uniform's shoulder patch. Because the uniform needs to be, well, I know, shocking, but uniform. So. Same spot. Good job. Good job. Okay. We need to talk about other colors like that yellow. We need that yellow. That's not the right yellow. Damn it. Oh. It's the right yellow. Wait. Let's get our pen out. Go in here. We're going to lay down this yellow a little bit. Yeah. Same thing. Undo. Yeah. Really? Really? There we go. There we go. All right. There are still 2 more jobs that we need to do for this. So, big jobs, big tasks that we need to make sure we complete. No. In the design booklet, we have characters. And in the characters setup, we have this color code set. We have to, first of all, we have to fix it because it's not the correct color codes anymore. So we're going to come over. Where's my mouse? There it is. Come over here. We've got Chang Li's limbs, which is fine. And all of her colors are here, which is also good. But here are the things we've got to fix. First of all, the shading and the highlight are not the same on these anymore. Because the shading really is going to be a black overlay at 33%, and the highlight's going to be a white overlay at 100% in white. So that gives a different shade than what we've got. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these guys and fix them, because we don't actually do this anymore this way. So we're going to, first things first, her division color is now changed to this, right? So let's go ahead and do that. And we're going to just take and make all of it one uniform thing. That's not the right color either, because this is the right color. Let's try and do this, this, and this. This buttons color is this orange offset. Stop being weird. Yeah. The metals color hasn't changed any. It's still this color right there, but we'll double check it to make sure. Yeah, that came out just fine. There we go. And the badges color is just to verify that it's the Unity logo there. And it is. You see how that fits. And then her skin color. Just double checking it. That's the color we want. It is. And her lips, just double checking that this is the correct code too. And we actually haven't seen her nipples yet because we haven't done that mode yet, so we don't have to worry about it. There we go. And the eye reflection is always going to be just that color, but I'm going to zoom in and double check to make sure we have tagged the right shade for her eye. I do that and do that, and do that, and do that. So we're just clearing these out. And then what we're going to do next is we're going to put the shading in black, so that if I ever have to manually go back after a picture has been drawn and rendered and set, I can go back in and tap the colors in the shade if I need to. That's the whole point here. So, are there any other color codes that are going on here? Because I don't think there are. Because there's her gray for her hair, which isn't actually gray, but you get the idea. And I like that she's got a kind of a weird offset color, which we'll use as well. So that's not an issue. And everything's registered there. Everything's registered there. We're all good. Okay. Okay, good. So now comes the hard part. because we got to take all of this and copy it. Then we say change canvas size. To there. We say OK. And then we say paste. And we deselect. And we bring this down. So this is going to then be tonal correction. And we're going to desaturate this. Okay. And herein lies sort of the rub. Right? Her division color doesn't look that separate from here. And its value ends up being like 40. That's kind of more what I'm looking for. Okay, the pause here is because I'm kind of thinking this through. Because I think what I really want to do at this point in time is we're looking at this and I'm kind of wondering, I think I'm going to set the value for 60 exactly. 60 exactly. Come on, work with me here. There we go. And that way I know what it is on this one. Pause for effect while I like think these things through. I'm like, crap, what am I thinking through here? So what we've got here is I'm going to make this 60 exactly for the service uniform. Right? And so this is going to be our new setup, and our new rig here is this. And this is definitive. Well, it's definitive for now. All right. Because really all I need to do is that. So we're going to go up a level, new layer. We're going to actually go here and let's deselect it real quick. And this. Nope. Really? Before was so cute the way they had it done before, where it was like this lovely little, like half moon in there and everything. And I'm like, yeah, we don't need to worry about that. It's all good. So we're going to go to multiply, bring this down to 33, like so. And we'll just go in here with the black. right? And that's everybody in this half black sort of thing. So we can kind of get an idea of what it looks like. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side, except that we'll do the top half. And then I'll come in and grab the ones that won't cooperate, these two, and we'll just fix that too. So we're doing a very long form comic. It's going to be going for a very, very long time. And I want to be able to have a consistent color palette and a consistent, even in black and white or in color, for issue number 50, which may be in 2035 for all we know, as we do on issue 1, which is going to be in 2022. So I very much want to make sure I have a clear rig on where everything is. And I want to make sure that my color codes are always straight and everything is always clear and the procedure is always the same. She is really light. You can tell because her skin turns white effectively white in this, which I think is funny. So I'll just take you and I'll just copy and paste you real quick. And just move you over to here. It makes that effectively white as well, which is fine. I'll take you and just duplicate you and move you over to here as well. Nothing wrong with that. So it's very important to me that we go through this little extra process here. Trying to just get all of this stuff standardized. And here, nope, that's not what I wanted. There we go. So then we'll take the white here and we'll go back down to the main layer. We don't need to say it twice. This gives us room to say something else. Because here's what's going to happen next. We're going to have to figure out what the zipatone code is for all of these colors. Because I may have to manually put in the zipatones. And if I have to manually put in the zipatones, which I may or may not have to do, there is a button that tones in this program. But I have made a lot of mistakes in Tamerlan, and I'm learning from those mistakes that I should be prepared to have to manually tone if I have to, I screwed this picture up or I screwed this frame up and the page is already toned and it's already set. I should have to be able to go in and tone it. So we're going to have to do that game. So give me a second here. That's a game that we're probably going to have to play. So we're going to take and turn off these guys and say Control Shift. Well, turn off the overlays. Control Shift E. And then we'll turn on these guys and we'll do the same thing. Control Shift E. and then see if those still look right. They do. Okay. Nope, they don't. This one didn't turn out right at all. Overlay. There we go. The multiply one didn't turn out right either. Multiply. There we go. So we're going to do this for every character. We have to have a template color code for it, but we're also going to have a template black and white codes. A lot of the time for like Chang, I'm just going to make her eyes all black because from a distance, you're not going to be able to delineate the difference between this and this. In color, I'm okay with adding in her shades of brown, but her eyes are so dark anyway. Oh, look, we can buy followers and viewers. Isn't that nice? I've been wanting to do that. Kind of keep a couple of followers hanging out in my closet. I mean, I bought them. Okay. So we're going to take, this is where, so I shouldn't have done this, but that's all right. Here we go. We're going to duplicate this layer and duplicate this layer. I'm going to duplicate this layer. And we're going to turn you off. No, not you. I'm going to turn you off and turn you off. I'm going to turn you off. And then we're going to make this. Exactly. Nah, it's all right. It's all right. I wonder if I can mark it from spam. I wonder if I can do that in the chat area. We can add it to a block list here in Restream. Oops, something went wrong. I think that's funny. That's all right. That's all right. I'm going to be entertained by that one for weeks. Okay. You know what's not on this multiply, though? The hair. And it's totally okay. I appreciate, by the way, I just wanted to say that I really appreciate the fact that you're willing to be my heavy out on Twitch, because I actually don't have Twitch controls over here at all. And so I can load Twitch, but once I do, we're taking up a lot more space on the very, very minimal space that we've got here in memory. So, okay. We are continuing on with our ongoing fight. With this. So we will continue this way. So here we go. So what we've got, the other thing I forgot to do was add a multiply layer for, because I like the color that they selected for the upper shade of her hair. So I'm willing for Chang to do special work on it. But we do need to do a shade for it. So we're going to go in here. I'm going to take this. No. And take this. We're going to remove part of it so we can shade it right like that. And I'm just going to go up a layer real quick. We'll just add black to it like so. I mean, at this level, it's not going to be much different than what we already have, because legitimately I'm going to turn that off, that on. I'm going to merge that with our multiply layer like so. So I'm going to turn that off, merge those two. Should have done this before. Sorry, guys. Sometimes this takes we go the hard way on these things. delete this because we don't need it anymore. We screwed it up. And this is, what is this? Nothing. Okay. Okay, so here's our overlay layer. Here's our multiply layer, right? So we'll do what we did before. Take this guy, and we duplicate him. Take this guy, and we duplicate him. Take this guy, and we duplicate him. Turn off this one, turn off this one, turn off this one, and this will be our flat set per chain. Well, I wonder if I just should. So we've got to go through this with every character. So if we set this template better, how do we set this template up so it doesn't take so much time for every character? Because all the characters are going to need to have this process put through them. They've got to go through all of this. We're going to have to go through the ongoing process with this for every character. How do we do that? Queso, because I'm queso. I love queso. I mean, really, honestly, what we should just do is just duplicate our multiply layers, right? Let's take this and do this and do this and do this, and then just duplicate this multiply layer. And then take it and move it down here to so. And we can merge those two layers, right? Yeah. Merge those two layers. Turn them back on to multiply. Yeah. Okay, that's how we're going to do this. We're going to do this way. I'm going to take this overlay layer and we're going to duplicate it. I'm going to take the duplicate down here.
It's time to take a 2-minute break.
It's time for us to take a 2-minute break after I place this. Place that there. Turn that off. And we merge these two together. And then put them back into overlay. And that's how we'll do it. There. Yeah. This way, we can flatten it when we're ready. When we're ready to finish, because this is going to be Chang Lee's color codes. But we'll be able to flatten it with every other character. We'll be able to come in and just change the circles, and that'll change their color codes. And first, let's stretch, stand up, get away. Kind of pop everything, stand up, do the wave. Pop our neck. Pop our back. Oh man, what's in this bag? Trash. It's all trash. Good. I have a big trash bag right here for trash. There we go. I'm slowly getting everything sort of squared away over here. I'm going to have to tackle my paper bin. So, oh, come on. You know that there's entertainment to this dancing thing. So, I'm going to have to tackle my paper shelf. I've got a shelf that's just paper, and it is unique. It's not unique. It has all kinds of great paper on it. But, oh, hey, look at this though. Like right here, I have, first of all, I have this light panel, which needs to be dealt with. But we've got these, which are awesome. Just saying. But like, look at this. Oh, look at that. All it is just sparkle paper. Oh, I love sparkle paper. I've got like a holographic paper. Look at this. Ooh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? More sparkle paper. I've got this one. This one's kind of cool because it's got just dots. So the whole idea behind these is I'm going to take and build cells in here using these so that the cell is on the front of this and these are on the back, like so. And then the cell will be in here and it'll give it some 3D values. So that's what I'm really after. You'll be able to order those at some point down the road. Oh, hey, check it out. Hard to see. There we go. I'll do this. Really, I have to turn it quite a ways for you guys to see it, because otherwise it just turns out all. Anyway, that's an actual watercolor painting, and she's in her old uniform too. That's all right. We'll call that uniform the uniform that she wore in academy, at the academy. Right? The academy uniform. And then I have my light board, which is great. This is a light board, which really should be over here, so that it can live on my art desk so that when we get to that point, and we will, I can get back to that. Okay, let's get back to work on the color codes. Color codes. All right, so this is Chang's color codes, right? We've got that. The best part about this is that we already have a lot of Mayrel stuff, so let's go ahead and open her other color code stuff. Because here's Mayrel's color codes, and I don't think they're right. Because I think we decided her lips were way too bright. I can already tell because her division color is wrong. So we're going to take this and copy it. We'll bring it over here and we'll paste it in, right? We can already see we've got like a difference in all kinds of crap going on here. So let's turn these off temporarily. And we'll take the fill tool. We'll start with, she's got to have this as the primary color. So we'll take that and color that out. Second thing is we've already got the gray or the purple that we want that turns the right shade of gray over here. So we don't need that anymore. I don't know what we did. Save. I hope we did the right thing. Anyway, okay. We actually don't need her color codes here anymore because we're going to fix them. Her division color is now this purple. So we're going to do this like so. And you know what we could do is just move this down here like so for right now, because we're just working this stupid thing. And then her button color is going to be this. So we're just going to go through here and do this. Door. Yeah. Stop. Lighting collect sector pixels only. There we go. Metal colors are correct, so we're just going to leave that alone. And the badge's color is still the same, so we're going to leave that there. Her eye color, we're just going to blank out just so that that's correct. The scalia color will be the same like so. And this brown is lighter than the brown that we have for Chang. So we're going to do that. I'm going to leave this here for just a second until we're ready to do the overlay on it, because her hair is not special. Chang's hair is going to be a special thing, so we'll have to mess with that later. So let's go ahead and double check her skin color. So we'll tap the skin there and make sure that her skin color is correct. It is. But we've changed her lips color because we felt like that was a little too bright. So that's the color we're going for her lips now. So they're much darker. And I don't know, we haven't seen nipples yet on her either. So we're just going to leave that alone at this point. And we're going to zoom all the way in and talk about green eyes and make sure that the color is correct. Okay, we verified all the colors of this, so we're going to then take this and move it up here and give it that. Then when we put this on, we get the correct codes. I move it over just a hair like that so that it's all in the right spot. Mayrail's skin is darker, I've noticed. So like totally we get a lighter color on her skin instead of like the weird. So we're going to take this, and now we've actually got some gradient on everything. It's kind of cool. We're going to take this and we're going to, first things first, we need to take this overlay and duplicate it. Honest, this is going to get faster, but it's got to be done. So take this overlay and we're going to call this normal overlay. I'll call this one Chang overlay. Chang's overlay is not going to have this section selected. The normal overlay will. So take you, and we're going to take you, and we're going to just select on this layer this. We're going to go to the normal overlay. We're going to go to white. I'm going to fill this there. That's what we've got. So that's going to be the normal overlay colors. Wind's picking up. So for Chang, she has a special overlay because we actually kind of like this gray that we were coming up with. But for Mayrail, we've got a different set of colors. So that's what we're going to do. Normal shadow. Okay. Which is good because this isn't the last character we're going to, but we're getting there. One thing I'm really liking though, the division shadow looks dark, but boy, it's looking pretty cool when it comes up into this lighter area. It's going to look neat. So we're going to be able to do that a little bit better, which is good. There's one more division we're going to have to work with, and that is the special duty division uniform. Special duty uniform would be like a scientist or medical. And I think they're going to be as close to white as we can get it without it being really weird. The uniforms actually look pretty kick butt in white with a white offset, but that way they'll be completely different from all three of these. And so we're going to do those guys next, for better or for worse. So we're going to, first things first, we're going to duplicate Mayrail's color codes and bring that set down here. like that. And this guy desaturates. And this gives us Mayrell's color codes, which interestingly don't look that much different from King's color codes, right? But with the addition of Mayrell, now we have both service uniforms, right? And they should look identical except for this change of the purple, which they do. Okay. But the skin doesn't change a whole lot. Yeah. But I'm okay with cadets having a different uniform completely, like they do in Star Trek. I'm okay with that. That seems fine because you won't usually have cadets on a service ship. I mean, you might, but I mean, like if they're doing their MIDI cruise, maybe I would think you'd have cadets, and we're gonna have to figure out Marines. That's gonna be you and me, Brent. We're gonna be working the Marines next because we have Arbo, so we've got to come up with the Marines uniform. So that's a new one. So we'll be doing Marines in the next set. This week is all prep time. Still prep for getting all of these characters. The characters are the things we spend the most time looking at and seeing. So we spend the most time working on them, making sure the colors are right and the combinations are correct and things like that. So it seems like we are doing an awful lot of work here, but the truth is we really aren't. Mayrell's color codes are also, by the way, don't mess this up. Meh. Oh, because we need to take the normal overlay and copy this section down. Which we will do cadets when we have cadets. But I don't think we have cadets at this point. So I just have this be the normal overlay, put it back into overlay. There we go. Mayrell's color codes. So, okay. So this is Mayrell's color codes. Now we've done those. So let's now go into the next characters that we've got. Who else do we have? We've got Navin. He doesn't have any color codes yet. We don't even have a folder for... Oh, no, we do. There's Tum. Okay. Angie, we can do Angie. She's got color codes. No, she doesn't have color codes. Meh. Well, that's annoying. I don't have color codes for any of these guys. I've done 2 color code sets. So there. I'm like, well. Okay. So we get to decide what our color codes are for everybody else. So let's go ahead and do that. I mean, we're already here. We're going to call this a save as. And we're in the design booklet. And we'll go to the characters. And we will just say color codes. We'll save it as a Photoshop document so that all the layers get saved. So think about that from a space point of view. We can't guarantee that the Marines will always be on a green planet. In fact, the odds of a green planet in my universe are kind of slim. Moment is one of about 6 worlds that actually have an oxygen atmosphere. So I'm thinking more along the lines of urban camo, wearing black or close to black, because we can't do black. Otherwise, it'd just be a black silhouette of characters all the time. But like a very dark gray or something like that, because you're never going to be able to guarantee that the colors you're going to be dealing with are going to be in trees of any sort. But let's think about the logic behind that, because you may be right, but yeah, I think 99% of the time, and 95% of the time, the Marines are going to be dealing with urban environments, being in cities or towns or under domes. Which reminds me, domes. A lot of the worlds that we run into are going to be under domes. Yeah, actually, the more I think about that, I'm like, because it could still be olive drab just for tradition. There's no reason not to make it olive drab for tradition. But I don't think it's going to be woodland colors, because the odds of us getting into woods. You might have Marines in a dome that's a forest, but I feel like that would be rare. Just by the nature of things, I feel like that'd be rare. So, anyway, so something to kind of ponder. We're going to now do some other characters. Let's talk about other characters, shall we? So we want to talk about color codes of skin. So let's talk about different color codes of skin. I have my flesh grid, which is one of my favorite things. But I like talking about different things that are let's do this. So we'll open up the flesh grid. We have sort of, and this is a Shutterstock thing that I snagged somewhere along the line, but it does a good job of kind of just giving me colors that I can work on. So this is like African colors, which is what we're going to need with Tum. He's very dark. I'm saying like right in here-ish, give or take, for Tum. But for Bennett, she's very Caucasian and very light. So I'm liking this kind of color right here. For her, I've got a better flesh grid than this. I keep snagging random things off of the internet, and it's fine, but I don't have a unified anything to worry about here. These are good. This is the flesh grid from Art Advice. The flesh grid. I just like the name. Anyway, right. Well, that's what I'm thinking too. You don't want to stand out, but black would pretty much make you just blend into a shadow somewhere. So you could always be kind of into the shadows. Maybe a slightly purple-ish black, because actually our shadows are slightly purple. However, yeah, I think really what's going to happen is they'll have some kind of active camo. but that's not what it's going to look like on the ship. You wouldn't wander around with active camo on the ship. That'd be weird. It's like your head just floating through the hallways. Like, isn't that right? Yeah, no right at all. Okay, here's my flesh grid. So I'm going to take this color, which I think I like this color good for. This color is a good color for our dear and lovely Bennett, midnight blue. A midnight blue might not be bad. I mean, actually, I'm chuckling about midnight blue, but no, actually, midnight blue might be what you want. We can talk about that. That certainly seems like a thing. So I'm actually good with that. Let's duplicate Merrell's color codes and call this one Bennett's color. Right? And we'll call this Bennett. And we'll make that a light, very light shade. Now we'll take a look at that one versus, say, yeah, okay, so we're going to get a different set of color from Merrell, or from Bennett, than we are from Chang. So I like that. And it's very different. Bennett's a much lighter. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. One of the other things we're going to do is design armor plates here pretty soon in Blender that can be attached to our Marines when they're out on like armor greaves and like armor plates, so that they have a armor which looks like armor. Because truth of the matter is 90% of it is projection, right? You want to project force. That prevents people from actually becoming aggressive. Because if you're projecting force, then you have a much better silkies. Yes. Do remember, though, that we may not actually have the same Marine Corps if you take all of humanity. So think about where we are in the Unity. You have everybody on the planet, only 10% of the planet gets taken out. Not even that, maybe 5%. But it's equal because the aliens that rescued all the people on Earth didn't know the difference between political boundaries. So they wouldn't understand America versus India. So they do a very definitive rescue set where they take a percentage and they get as many as they can in each wave, 1%, then 2%, then 3%, then 4%, as much as they possibly can off of the planet. And then when the disaster happens, that's the best that they could do. So that's where we were on this one. We got about 6%, 5% or 6% of the population. But it's not going to be, U.S. military necessarily. So they're probably going to have all sat down somewhere along the line and said, we need to make a military. How should we do this? And, the American guy's like, well, I was a Marine and this is how we did it. And then some British guy's gonna be like, well, I was a British Marine and we did it differently, and so they're going to argue over these things until they finally settle out on something that may or may not follow all of the traditions. One of the reasons I like hanging out with the Navy, though, is because most navies all over the world hold on to some really serious traditions. So Navy guys would all get together. Right, exactly. So that's what I was thinking, is either you'll have British style or American style when it comes to the Marines. Just keeping that kind of in concept, because you're right. They do tend to just take from that sort of thing. Okay, we're also going to take now work. And I'm going to have to take the word Merrell out because it's not Merrell anymore. It's Bennett. Bennett's hair is pretty close to the same color as Merrell's hair, I would think. right? And I'm going to make her have shockingly blue eyes. And by blue eyes, I mean one eye. So her replaced eye is going to be the right eye. There. Bennett, of course, has had a lot of surgery. So she has one blue eye and one brown eye. Her division color is also command. Hey, there we go. She's also an officer of the line. Unless you guys think differently, she's the security head. She's not the first officer, though. Should I have her in purple? Maybe I should have her in purple. Yeah, she might be in purple. Okay, we're going to keep her in purple then. Yeah. Yep, that's right. Okay. Bennett's very light-skinned. And so is Escobar. The stop here is me thinking this through. Okay, I think I'm happy with this. So we will go with this. And we will say this is airborne. Did airborne go all the way to the top now? I've used it enough that it's yes. So we will say we'll go ahead and make this the same size. Okay. Take off the overlays and the Changs and Control Shift E to merge that together. And we will take you. Why did I do that to myself? I don't know. Copy, paste. It's all right. We'll move you down to here. Turn on normal shadow, turn on normal overlay, and we'll position this correctly. There we go. All right. We'll take this, and we'll say tonal correction, and we'll take out its saturation. I want her eye to be darker. Her left eye needs to be almost as dark as Yep. kind of damage am I doing here? Oh. And it's just, I want it to be effectively black. That way her eyes actually look kind of weird. Lots of trouble. I'm always in trouble. What are you talking about? We always do trouble, man. We always do trouble. All right. So this is Bennett's codes, which work. Now let's duplicate Bennett's codes. Now, first things first, let's get rid of the thing we're not supposed to have here, which is this. We don't need that. We know it's Bennett. Okay. Now we'll duplicate this because we're doing good. We really should never duplicate the layers down. We should be duplicating Chang's because it's the original. So let's go on ahead and do that. Let's duplicate Chang's and bring it up to the top. Because really that's what we should be doing. And we will now talk about the next character in line. Whom is... Didn't I have something that like sort of did something at discussing about hair and like nipple color? I seem to remember something talking about nipple color being... because it changes from person to person. But we're all so like caught up on sex and stuff being wrong that it makes this difficult to figure out codes. Yeah, like these different skin types here. I find all these great things out on the web, and then I can't use them, or here we go. Natural lip colors. Now, this is for lipstick, but it's like, it still got me. It got me to the point where at least I can get the right thing going here. Right? Because these are all like normal lipstick shades, but at least I can, because I don't think my characters are wearing lipstick anymore. I don't think that's a thing we're doing anymore. Let's see what we got here. So here's another of the weird little flesh grids. Which I like. These flesh grids are better because there's more dots in here, but it also gives me a shade to work off of. I'll keep that open. Gotta love this. Yep. Well, and that's what I'm thinking too, is something similar to the Expanse. We obviously have mecha in this universe. I haven't built them yet, but there are mecha out there. So it seems logical to me that we would have sort of an armored setup of some degree. But Bobby, in her normal environment, Bobby Draper, right? Bobby Draper, in her normal environment, looks like And let's talk about where she is in her everyday, because this is more like her everyday, right? I'm kind of looking at like their everyday outfits are gray and that kind of thing, but this is her body armor, right? I like the fact that there's this design on her chest that obviously connects and snaps into her body armor, so it makes logical sense that just click and you can like you're on, man. But I mean, that's her body armor. And this is a drawing. But I mean, obviously it like unzips and stuff like that, but this isn't armor. I mean, it is an armor, but it's a light armor. It's like a chainmail, looks like a chainmail of some sort. I am not drawing chainmail every time I have a Marine on scene I've got to still draw these guys. So yeah, I am thinking more like Tachikoma, right? I'm thinking more like a Tachikoma sort of setup when it comes to maybe not exactly Tachikoma, because Tachikoma are kind of bizarre and weird. Let's see if they can show somebody getting out of the Tachikoma. Because of course part of this is that the Tachikoma, the passenger rides in this back piece here, right? Kind of like a almost, wouldn't it be kind of cool if this was like a motorcycle piece back here? So you got onto it and leaned in and the armor closed over you. Yeah, here we go. Right? The back section of the Tachikoma. That's better when you have the major there. Kind of get an idea of what that looks like in scale. Because I feel like we would have armor, and I feel like that would be the Marine armor, the Marine spacesuit, the Marine standard suit would be space capable and plausibly have EMP deflection, like different kinds of things. But I might make like stripes that go across it so that you kind of get the feeling that, because I can draw the stripes, that's okay. But not individual little rings for its chainmail. Not doing that. That's way too much. But I kind of like the idea of riding these things like a motorcycle in a lot of ways. So you got the feet in here, and you put your chest right there. Yeah, scale armor. Yeah, no. Or rather, I will draw all the Marines and then send them to you, and you have to put all the damn scales in. Anyway, uh, okay, let's talk here. We got dark lips kind of going for. Okay. We deal with, this is going to be Dr. Lawson. I've changed Dr. Lawson's name, which makes this hard for me to remember what the heck I was doing. Right? But I've changed Dr. Larson's name. His name is Tamnaziti. So, and the reason is because he would have been the 1% taken from Africa. And so I feel like he would have. So that could be a good. Well, no, I kind of like. Well, he's male, so traditionally speaking, in manga, we don't do lips for males. Don't ask me. I just work here. Follow the conventions of pretends that we, all know what we're talking about. So, okay. Let's get ourselves a flesh grid. Oh, here's my master skin color palette and hair. This is what I was actually looking for in the first place. There we go. There we go. But that should mean you should do it. Yeah. Not doing scale. Ends up in my book. If it ends up in my corner, I'm not doing scale. All right. Different eye colors we've got going on here. So I want Tum to be really dark, but not this dark. I feel like because that never comes out looking as good. I keep wanting it to look good, but it doesn't. So color codes, we're going to go for skin of this color and lips of this color. And then the nipples turn really dark on those people. So, like really, really dark. Like here. Like that. Well, that comes like a charcoal almost, which makes sense. That actually fits color codes like I meant for that. Oh, that means I should do it. Lips on males. I don't know. Okay, back to my master color charts. For the hair, he's going to be blue-black with this. And then the color codes are going to be this. Yeah, yep. I already turned out the right color. Fine. I'm going to do black on this. So we're going to do color codes over here. And do that. Because his hair is so dark that it actually reflects to blue. There we go. Which means he gets the special overlay. Okay. And this is where we're going to have to start talking about a different uniform. Because this one, he's in the medical, which is very, very bright white. But I don't want it to be white. So I'm going to go for a gray, like that. Right? Medical's close to white, but not quite. So I really like the white uniforms they're putting into Discovery that's kind of changing and altering the way that Star Trek has been doing things. And so I really like the white uniforms for medical. There's kind of a reason that doctors wear white, and a lot of it is because it's easy to clean. You can just bleach the heck out of everything, and that gets all of the blood stains and various bodily fluids and stuff that you're going to end up with on your uniform off. But the other reason is because you might use it in a forensic way to figure out what was going on. And so you want to be able to easily spot, like so-and-so here, we've been operating on him, and then we realize he's got some communicative virus. Then I need to find blood stains on here to get samples because he caught fire and died. I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter. But there's a reason why they usually use white. It also is sort of indicative um, of what you're sort of doing here. So we're going to go for white there. And maybe a darker gray for the primary. I'm not sure. Let's take a look at my officers things. Let's take a look at this and say, grab this as a division color. Let's talk about this as just looking at what it looks like on here. And we'll make, there we go. I made everybody's color that color, huh? The question is, should we offset it? Probably not. Maybe just white's fine. I think white's just fine. We'll just leave it like that. And that'll be for our lovely and talented Lawson. And I think I'll just keep it like that and then primary to division. And do we want science to be that way? Everybody in science is just wearing white, that entire division. Because it's not science, it's specialist. Because that's really what it is. It's a specialist term. So you've got your line officers who are in command or in command of a division or group. Who's the ship's ground commander? In what way? Are you talking about the admirals and the admiralty? Because we don't actually talk to any of the higher command for a long time in the story. We don't actually get back to the Polaris until like episode 6 or 7. So we don't actually get back to, oh, you mean the Marine commander? That's Arbo. Yeah, we get to do that tomorrow. We get to work on Marine uniforms and stuff like that tomorrow because I'm trying to get all of my Navy guys first while I can. Because the Navy guys, once we figure out all these codes, it's going to be cake to just go through everybody's uniforms. I just need to make one more decision here, and it's 10:50. So we're coming up on the end of this show. And I just need to make a decision as to whether I like the white on medical. I like this white medical uniform. Do we do medical? I guess corpsmen are different people. I don't know why I said corpsmen, because they're full of corpses. Anyway, corpsmen would be different. A different color seems appropriate for corpsmen. White doesn't hide blood as well as red. You're not wrong. We're not talking about Marines. We're still talking about the sciences guys, specialists, mission specialists. Mission specialist uniforms need to be a different color. Because I need to kind of think of that. We've got to come up with mission specialists who are a different shade. White sounds good for corpsmen, and I think that's okay. But I think mission specialist should be a different color and a different, of course, obviously a different shade. So let's talk about corpsmen or mission specialists. We don't actually have a red in use. So they could be like this kind of orange or yellow. something of a soothing color. Well, command is in a blue, which is very soothing. The problem is I really don't want to fall into Star Trek's kind of color codes because I feel like I have my line officers, my restricted duty officers, my mission specialists, and my corpsmen, and then Marines, right? Whatever we want to call our Marines, which we may just call Marines. I know that you're kind of going away from that concept because it does evoke a certain thing, but I've been thinking a little bit about here. I'm going to bring the camera back up because I actually kind of want to. I've been thinking a little bit about the Unity's concept of what they're doing, how they perceive the world. In an outside point coming in, my major point that I want to make as a writer in the story is the presumption of evil versus the presumption of good, right? The Unity makes the presumption of good all the time. We presume you are good until otherwise noted. And even when otherwise noted, we presume that you have a reason for being bad, and we try to address the reason for being bad instead of just attacking you for being bad. So the Unity comes from that stance, whereas the Commonwealth comes from the presumption that you just need to be punished, and punishment helps curb people from doing it. Right. So I think our Marines are probably going to be in a midnight blue. I think you're right. They're going to be in a midnight blue, but I also want them to be in a very different uniform. Because when you deploy Marines, the Unity has stepped down a number of steps. So procedurally, you start with, we show up at a problem and we put in specialists to fix your problem. That's the first step. If we meet aggression during that, then we try to diffuse the aggression first. But if the aggression continues to a certain point, then we put in people who look aggressive in order to make you think twice about your next step. But the whole thing is to keep a series of steps that go down before we get to the point where we actually draw weapons and before we start shooting at people. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here. I think that our Marines, they'll be in a different uniform, so we've got a problem, right? You know that things are probably not right because it's kind of like police officers. The moment a cop shows up, you're kind of like, maybe things are going bad. You know what I mean? Like, even though the police officer's job is to diffuse the situation and step it down. And the same thing will go for my Marines. They will be stepping it down and trying desperately to kind of get you guys to, hey, let's back off. Let's not do this. But they're ready if it comes to the point where there's nothing you can do. The aggressor is just not backing away. It's not backing down. They won't stop. At that point in time, the Marines are ready to take action. And I think that's something that I'm really big for. But that means we have a mentality that I'm trying to push forward with the Marines, in that you want them to look like, this isn't good. But you don't want them to be aggressive, because I agree, red is aggressive. And actually, to that end, maybe we should never use red. You know what I mean? Like, red's not a color we use simply because it is an aggressive color. It makes you anxious. It makes, like this shirt, which I always thought was orange, but my wife keeps saying is red, and I don't know, maybe it is red. Anyway, but I think you're right. I think no matter what, we shouldn't use red, because The truth is, at its core, a Unity starship is a problem solver. And the problem solver never starts with shoot them, right? So weapons are hidden on the ship. They can be exposed, but also true. I mean, but at least when we're dealing with humans, we know that red's not good, right? And we can, by fluke, just say that red is universally like. I mean, red is bad for us because it's blood, and that's what we see. Which means wounding, which means danger, which means a human is hurt, and that indicates to our lizard brain that we're in trouble. So I'm thinking a green, a light green, maybe a sea green for science. Like over here in sort of the greeny areas. Want it to be a value that's high enough. We're now picking everything. Look at this. We're picking up all kinds of crap now. We've confused the colors enough now. Let's go back and use this guy. There we go. Like a sea green. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking is a sea green, like an ocean green for science. And that'll put it at a medium color that's between command, which is a lighter color, and medical, which is going to be absolute white, right? That should be good. That should be good. We'll go for sea green. So this is our science. I'll draw up a over the day today. I will draw up a uniform rig. Just draw up the characters in uniform so that we can kind of get an idea of what their colors are. Set the colors in. We've got 4 colors plus then the Marine uniform, and then we'll work on the Marine uniform tomorrow because we'll need to get Arbo set up too because he's our Marine captain, our Marine lead, our Marine head, whatever we want to call him. He was a major in Tamerlane, but that technically outranked Cochrane because she was a commander. So I don't want to have an outrank, so we're gonna bring Arbo's character back down in a rank so that there is still technically the same thing. Because though good for drama to have your Marine go, I'm not in your chain of command, it's really not really good for the discipline thing. So it's fun for the concept of drama, not so fun for anything else. So anyway, I'm going to go on ahead and head on out and go do the lunch thing and get lunch and doodly wops and stuff. And hang on real quick. I'm telling Alex that. So I will see you tomorrow. I'm glad to have you here, Brent. I'm glad to have you here, Donald. I will see you both tomorrow. We will continue with uniforms and colors tomorrow. And until then, keep your eyes on the stars. Goodbye.